Welcome back to my channel. So, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you will be notified of all the videos that I do on this channel. So, this is going to be a good one. Basically, Wendy Williams' doctor has issued a report basically saying that she no longer has dementia. And I know when people heard that Wendy, the queen of daytime talk, basically had dementia, it was a sad thing because we know Wendy to have the talk show and all her other history in the media, and she's always basically brought the news to us. And so it was not a good day to hear that Wendy had dementia. I mean, although, some people get dementia and, it's natural, but, for her to have dementia, and they were saying at such a young age as well, that, it basically was something that would have been very young to even be diagnosed. So listen to, we're going to watch this video together and discuss what the new update is on Wendy. But I'm so happy for her that, this is happening, because, I'm happy for her with this at this point.
Stories on this show unless you count autopsies, but for Wendy Williams, I will make an exception. Her story is legal as well as medical, and if you ask her, it's 100% criminal. But that dreaded court-ordered guardianship that's gravely restricted Wendy's life for more than 3 years now is pegged to a specific diagnosis: frontotemporal dementia.
So it was frontal temporal dementia. And she's saying that, it's a lot of things that happen. She said it could possibly be um, some foul play, but Wendy is Wendy, and Wendy knows a lot, and she's been out and about. But let's keep watching the story, because I know for anybody to get a diagnosis that they did not deserve, how harsh is that? That's you know that's crazy. It's ridiculous that something like that will happen.
That is an incurable and progressive brain disease. It only gets worse, and eventually it gets debilitating. But recently, Wendy underwent a new battery of tests, and we have learned that they found the exact opposite: no dementia. That original diagnosis was wrong, these tests pointed out. We reached out to the lawyer who's leading the fight to get Wendy's guardianship lifted. Joe Tacopina is a courtroom legend, and he's a friend of this show, and he told us this is true. This story is true. Wendy is not medically incapable of making her own decisions, he says. So what does it mean? Does the guardianship end right away? Can Wendy leave that fifth-floor memory care unit where she's been locked up and angry about it? She's paying for it, by the way, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Her legal team plans to ask the judge to give Wendy her life back. And if that request is...
Yeah, so think about that. She's paying for this place, which I heard is very costly. She's paying, and she also, due to that past diagnosis, was told that she would have to stay there because of basic, incapability of doing things on her own due to the diagnosis. So now, let's say she doesn't have frontal temporal dementia. So what was she there for? What, how did they even, you know, not see something sooner? Then it's been a whole entire 3 years, and she's been there. Wow.
refused, they say they're going to ask for a jury trial for it. Joining me now is someone who literally wrote the book on guardianships, journalist, author, and friend of the show, Diane Diamond. Her book is called We're Here to Help When Guardianship Goes Wrong. Diane, I did not expect necessarily to see such definitive evidence that the diagnosis was wrong. I'd love your reaction to this.
Well, I wasn't surprised a bit because Wendy told me that this was what the new medical team had discovered. I was waiting for the announcement to come out, and now I guess it has. Was I surprised that it was a completely different diagnosis? No, because not only was she diagnosed with what? Frontal temporal lobal dementia, and something else. What was it? The same thing that Bruce Willis has. Aphasia.
Oh, aphasia. Yeah.
Aphasia. That was the original diagnosis put into the court by her guardian, a woman named Sabrina Morrissey. Now, was that a fraud upon the court? Was it just a misdiagnosis by the medical team that Sabrina Morrissey hired to evaluate Wendy Williams? I mean, we don't know. So maybe a jury trial would be a great thing.
Boy, would it ever. I have so many.
Like, it's so many things to say about this. Like, Wendy is this celebrity icon who has lots of history. She was going through so much, in her personal life at a particular time with um, her husband and her mom's passing, and to deal with this on top of it and to just uh, diagnose her, you know, completely wrong, a false diagnosis. This is definitely a lot to deal with. I'm glad that this is something that's being looked into in a better way, because what they're saying is that basically this type of illness doesn't get it wouldn't get better. It will only digress. So she wouldn't have any progress. So she would get uh worse, but she's been doing fine, and she's basically getting better. So now, what is going to happen, because her life was completely thrown apart because of it.
Questions, and I know that that's the kind of thing that you get when you put people on the stand, and a lot of dirty laundry can come out on both sides, and I think that's something that they've been threatening her with. I know that that's been some of the reporting from court, is that Sabrina Morrissey et al. Has said, oh, Wendy, you're not going to want to go to any trial because you're not going to like what the public's going to hear. So, and I should be very frank with our audience. Diane, you and I are friends. We have both had lunch with Wendy. We have both come to the same, separately, we've both come to the same conclusion that, look, she's a little off, but she's not the kind of person you should lock away. I've seen people wandering the streets who are in far worse condition, who they haven't locked away. And it just seems, confounding. So the question I have, if this diagnosis
but Ashley, those people that are wandering out in the street, they don't.
In my opinion, I'm just gonna say this, but the Guardian should have seen some of this. Like, if you have someone as a guardian is basically someone that protects you, protects your finances and everything with you when you're that pertains to you when you are not able to do for yourself. So, being that they said Wendy was not able to do for herself, the guardian is supposed to be the one to actually look into everything and make sure everything is done the right way. And this is crazy, because I feel like with all of this that, is going on, who was actually taking care of that? Because obviously somebody was not.
Don't have any money. You see, Wendy Williams has a lot of money. And when you're put under guardianship, the guardian's name goes on all of the money, all the property, all the bank accounts, everything. So that's one reason I think that this has gone on for so long, because the judge appointed this judge, Lisa Sokoloff, appointed someone very familiar to her, Sabrina Morrissey. And so now the other side of this argument's coming out. is the judge going to say, oh gosh, I made a mistake in appointing Sabrina Morrissey? Or are they going to keep this under wraps, as all of the hearings have been? Everything is done secret in guardianships. So I'm sorry I interrupted you, but that's
No,
why
it's okay
Wendy.
because we're both on the same track. Yeah, we're both
Yeah.
on the same track, but I am so curious with this new evidence that she is not suffering from these debilitating conditions that locked her up and forced her to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills because the place where she's living is expensive. Sabrina Morrissey is being paid by her as well. I mean, it's just so confounding that you're locked up against your will, the access to your money is taken away, and they dig into it to pay for you to be locked up against your will. Would she then qualify in any way to get all of that money back? And then I'll go beyond that. Would there be repercussions for the people who did this to her? They took her civil liberties away, and if this evidence is right, for no reason.
Yeah, well, see, to me, guardianship is like the biggest under-discussed civil rights issue of our time, because when you're guardianized, all of your civil rights are taken away. I mean, the judge finally relented and let Wendy get a lawyer, a legal team of her own, which was unusual. But will they ever have to give the money back? No, because what the guardian has done was all under court order. The judge gave her permission to do everything. So could there then be a civil suit against the guardian? Yeah, you bet. I'm involved in a civil suit right here in New York with a woman who was unjustly guardianized. A lawyer got her out of guardianship, which was rare. And now that attorney is suing everybody involved. The attorney, the guardian, the doorman who locked the woman out of her apartment. So yeah, I think, if lawyers can get these things into a courtroom, another courtroom, with a jury could, in a civil suit, award Wendy millions of dollars in punitive damages.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Let me ask you this. Oh, I mean, the story is going to blow up. It should be blowing up now, because the fact that someone has been locked up against her will and her bank account has been accessed by others against her will, and it has paid for the costs where she's been, which amount to, again, hundreds of thousands. I do want to ask you this, because I think you're going to say no. With this evidence, does she get out of jail immediately?
No. Sadly, no. And you and I have snuck into secret lunches with her. I've spoken to her on the phone for hours and hours and hours and hours. This is not a woman who is in the throes of dementia. She's a critical thinker. She has a notebook where she keeps all of her notes every day, her daily log, all of her contacts, her legal team phone numbers. Yeah. She had a problem with alcohol.
I'm with you.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm with you, Diane.
How many people in America
there
have
may
that
have been
problem?
those problems. Yeah. There may have been alcohol-induced dementia, but this frontotemporal thing. Let's continue the story. I'm super late on time because of the Trump signing. So thank you, Diane. Always good to see you. I so appreciate this.
You're welcome, my friend.
Wow. So this is, a lot, because as I said, it basically seems to me that Wendy, had her life taken from her. So besides what she was dealing with in her own personal life, um, these things were also in the way. And wow, just think about that. Like, she had to pay money to be kept in a place where she was not supposed to be in the first place. So she is depleting and taking money out of her account to stay in a place where she really doesn't want to be. And I know TMZ was actually talking about this and keeping up with Wendy. I saw some things, but TMZ says Wendy Williams does not have the medical condition a judge has used to justify keeping her in a highly restrictive guardianship for more than 3 years, according to a top neurologist. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Wendy recently completed a battery of tests in New York City, and the neurologist concluded she does not have frontotemporal dementia. The neurologist provided Wendy's legal team with the results last month, and the findings conflict with an earlier test when, according to Wendy's guardian, she tested positive for the condition. So, we're told Wendy's legal team will file legal docs with the court in the next 2 weeks. So they are going to file a case because of this within the next 2 weeks, paving the way for a hearing where they will ask the judge to terminate the guardianship. And yes, I think the guardianship should be terminated. Why not? If she has a guardian that has not even been really advising the correct things, or even making sure that what she is signing off on is true. Like, this is kind of ridiculous, and it's a crazy situation because, it would be different if she really had frontal temporal dementia, but she doesn't. So it would be different if someone has something going on, and you do this, with their money, their bank account, all of her things are not in her control. Her life was not in her control. Basically, you might as well say that, according to everything that we know, and her being in this place for 3 years. Wow. Okay, so yeah, so they're going to ask the judge to terminate the guardianship. So join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this Wendy Williams not having frontal temporal dementia. I mean, I'm glad that she doesn't. Maybe, from now on, they'll listen to her and, everything that she's saying, knowing that there's nothing wrong with her at all on that particular level. She has her things that she has to deal with, obviously, but um, that's a big diagnosis, and that, um, they said they're gonna basically ask for a hearing. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.